Thorin, and my guest for this one is going to be ceh9, long-time 1.6 player, most famously with Na'Vi, Natus Vincere, where he won many championships. Then he did play in the early days of CSGO with Na'Vi, more recently known as a commentator, streamer, and obviously on this channel people can check out a Reflections interview we did. I think it was last year, maybe. I think it wasn't that long ago. And so we go through a lot of your history there. So, okay, what I wanted to do here, ceh9, is I know you're someone who keeps up to date on the CIS scene. I sometimes see you do like blogs on the topic or articles on Russian websites. And I have to say, despite the fact CIS teams are some of the best in the world, and we've even had a CIS team won a major not that long ago, not that much info actually does get out to the Western world. Like, I know actually Zeus has done a good job having some of his videos subtitled, but you know, there's always a lot of behind the scenes info that we never really get in the Western scene. And so I thought we'd do an episode where you just give me your opinion, any kind of information you have on some of the big teams in the CIS region. So I wanted to start off with your old team, Na'Vi, because this is prompted actually, this is what made me think of this episode. So people will know the storyline that in 2018 in particular, Simple has been maybe the best player in Counter-Strike. A lot of people, it's actually kind of a consensus at the moment. Most people say he's the best player. But at times, especially at the beginning of the year, Na'Vi as a team didn't look anywhere close to the best team. And so unfortunately, the gap between having the best player but you're not having the best team has led to a lot of people, on the one hand, you're really praising Simple for being so good as an individual player, but at the same time, people have been very critical of his team and specific teammates as well. And I saw, it was kind of out of nowhere for me, but you made a tweet to me that was along these lines, basically, where you said something like, you know, this isn't Quake 1v1, it's Counter-Strike 5v5, and something like your tweet, it was a bit melodramatic. You said like your tweets can ruin everything or something. What did it, I assume you were referring basically to kind of what I was describing here, you know, people praising Simple, but then kind of saying that Na'Vi's bad. So can you kind of give us your thoughts on this topic? Because it's clearly something you care about, right?
Actually, I think Simple, is a very good player. Yeah, his performance is unbelievable. Everything is fine. But if we are talking about team, we should talk about 5 players, because like an apple, if you bite an apple, it's not a full green nice apple. No, it not depends on iPhones, Okay. But if everyone will write in the internet like Simple, he's the best, best. Simple is a young boy, he's 21 or 2 years old. He can read this all, and there might be problems in the future in the Na'Vi, or another teams.
Okay.
So I think that we must talk about 5 players, about Simple, Electronic, and Flamey, and Zeus, and Edward as well. Because without Edward, without this player, I think Na'Vi won't be second or third team in the world. But Edward's statistic is not that good as it was in 2010. If you're check hltv.org right now. But it's very hard to find that kind of player these days, because maybe his aim not that good, but he can talk a lot. He knows a lot of tactics. He knows how to work. He knows how to train, to practice. He knows how to talk with Zeus, with in-game leader. So the CSGO team is like a good car, and in the good car you need to have all like wheels, seats, and so that stuff.
Sure.
So Simple is very good, but I think community shouldn't hype him like a god, because he's a person like me and you, and especially when you're a young person, it can break a lot. That's all.
Okay. Like, well, before we talk about some of the other members of Na'Vi, then Has Simple changed as a player, do you think? Like, I mean, if you go and look last year and you look even the years before, you know, he was a very good player back then and sometimes his statistics were very good. Is he a different player this year, do you think? Has something changed in him?
I think if you look like only in CSGO skill, yeah, only like he aims, only like he nades someone and that's all, nothing changed. But in his communications with community, with teammates, I think changed a lot. He really grew a lot. Yeah, maybe you remember when he was 18 or 17 years old. It was some scandals, yeah, about about Germans, yeah, about
saying silly things on stream,
silly things on stream about he was cheating maybe in 1.6, yeah, Counter-Strike.
Sure.
He was banned by ESL for some time, and it's all in the past. And actually, it's really good that his performance nowadays is that great that community just can forget about those things, and
sure.
It's really amazing, because if someone like not that good like Simple will make such bad things, yeah, community just will eat him and that's all. We won't remember that kind of player. But Simple, because of his great, unbelievable performance, is still playing and playing really good.
Okay, so when you said before, when you were listing off the members of Na'Vi, and, you know, after Simple, you went with the other big names, like obviously we've got Flamey and Electronic, and these are considered very skilled players. This is one of the reasons why, though, I think people, especially people maybe who didn't watch the more recent tournaments when the team generally looks better, were very critical of Na'Vi, because it's one thing if you go back last year when, for example, CIS was playing very badly, and, you know, at one point in time they didn't even have Zeus. You know, these were lineups where it made sense that there was problems in the team. But when people see, okay, we've got Simple and he's really good, and then Electronic in flip side was amazing, he looked really, really strong. People remember a couple of years ago how good Flamey can be. It seemed like these players, Flamey and Electronic, at some point in time, maybe their role was wrong or they couldn't perform to the proper level. What do you think about them at the moment?
Well, actually, as I know, Electronic is not that bad as he was at the beginning of the Na'Vi, yeah, like sure. 5 or 6 months ago. Last tournaments, DreamHack Marcel and some online matches, I think. Yeah, maybe ESL. No, yeah, ESL Pro League as well, European division. He played really good, and Na'Vi changed a lot for Electronic. Nowadays he's playing as he wish. He can go like just kill some people on A side, on B side, without any tactics. Yeah, because when Na'Vi made the team, yeah, Zeus began making his in-game leader tactics, yeah, and maybe Electronic couldn't play for those tactics, but they saw that and they changed this kind of aspect. So nowadays Electronic maybe the second player in Na'Vi by statistics. If Simple has 1.3 or 4, KDR, KDR. This
I assume it's the rating. I think the one
rating to 0. So Electronic is the second one. Flamey, is not that good as he was, but maybe when you have team of 4 monster players, they're not like frags for those guys. If Simple will play worse, or Electronic will play worse, maybe Flamey will kill 20 or 25 people, something like that. And maybe there are some not in-game problems, sometimes, and we don't know about them. So I think in the future maybe Flamey will be better But I'm waiting when Edward will be better. Actually,
okay.
when he will show those young people and his team who is the Pistol King.
Sure. I don't know if you know this, but especially on all the Western websites, here's the thing. At first, it used to be Zeus who got all the criticism when he came back from Gambit, and obviously people expected a lot, and we'll get to him next, but. I think now the player who gets criticized the most is Edward. Like, he's the player where people think he should be removed, or people think, you should. I mean, it's funnily enough, it's the same mentality as like when you used to be a player. They want to just replace him with another star aimer, like Mir or something. Yeah, because people always have a very weird sense of team balance. So he is going through a tough period in his career, right?
Sure, but everyone should know. That we can change maybe Edward, we can find some good aimer, but we don't know who it will be, because some young person, 20, 21 years old, can go to Navi, they can practice a lot, but only one tournament and bad performance can break all that work, because this young person will have same problems that had Simple in the past, Electronic in the past, Flame, and so on. But it's time, and people can't wait. So Navi can just talk worse with each other, Team play will just die, and so on. So I think if Navi is like top 3 right now in the HLTV, or even top 2, it's a good result. I think that if team is the second one in the world, it can be the first one. It's not like long distance.
Yes.
They just need to work, and that's all. And Edward understands that maybe his performance is not that good as it was in the past, and he's not aiming like a young star. But Counter-Strike is not the game about only aim. It's the game about like skill, and skill is aim, is mind, is a good communication with the teammates, and so on. And we viewers only see like 10 or 12 hours of team play per month, on tournaments of one team. It's like 12 hours, maybe 4 best-of-3 games plus, but teams are working for 8 hours per day, about 160 hours per month.
Okay.
So sure, they have a lot of conflicts, and such guys as Edward or Zeus or manager Eugen of Navi can fix these conflicts. And it's very hard to fix conflicts when one more young guy will come to the team. Maybe it will work and Navi will play better, but we don't know. We have the result. We have the second team in the world right now. It's the fact. But if we will change Edward, maybe they will play better, or maybe they will play worse. That's all.
Sure. Okay, so in terms of Zeus, obviously someone you know very well because you played with him for many years, even briefly at periods in time before you were in Navi. Like, he is someone where, even though I know a lot of people forgot his 1.6 pedigree because in CSGO, it was a different team, it took him a longer time to get to the very top of the game again. People had a lot of respect for him as an in-game leader at one point in time. He had that very famous slow style, and then especially when he went to Gambit and won the major, if I use the metaphor that people often say in English of like your stock, as though it's the stock market, his stock was at the top maximum value. You know, everyone thought, wow, what an amazing legendary leader, you know, the first team to win a major from CIS region in CSGO. So then when he came back to Na'Vi, a lot of people thought, okay, he's the savior. He's going to come to Na'Vi. They've had these problems with Seized. He's, you know, we've got a real in-game leader here. He'll come in the team will be good. They've got simple, you know, everything will be great. And for the first few months especially, there was a lot of problems. And in fact, as I say, he also took a lot of criticism. And in fact, part of the criticism was, if you look at the rounds, whereas in the past, when they did that classic Na'Vi style of like you run the clock all the way down and you make sure you have exactly the right read as to where you want to go, and then you get in there, you know, with 5 seconds, you plant the bomb. A lot of the time when he was trying to do this, it wouldn't work and they were making all these misreads. As someone who knows him, what do you think his problems have been, and what do you think is going on with Zeus as the leader of this Na'Vi, a different team, obviously?
Actually, CSGO is maybe a faster game than 1.6, yeah? And Zeus, like a player who played 1.6 for maybe 10 years or 8 years, sure, he will play the same game style, but 1.6 game style not always work for CSGO. So every in-game leader should update his own tactics and his own vision of the game. That's why we have problems. We had problems like when I was a player in Na'Vi in CSGO, yeah, and after me, all the teams had some problems, but only work can change that aspect. And we can see that one tournament was they lose one tournament, second tournament, but every time the result was better. Every team where Zeus played won some championships. But he just needs time, a lot of time. That's the main reason why some players quit before the team took first places, because a lot of people wants to be a champion like right now, and that's all. Right now, and they can't wait. But if you will wait a bit, yeah, like 2, 3, 5 months maybe, actually Zeus will be a champion one more time, I think, with his team.
One thing I found interesting is I remember in 1.6 when the Na'Vi team was made, I was actually surprised that Zeus was the in-game leader, because I remember when he played in some of his past teams, Pro 100, Virtus Pro, he was just another player, you know, he wasn't the in-game leader. So when he became this very successful in-game leader, you know, oftentimes you think, right, well, this just must be somebody who's dedicated, he knows the tactics and stuff. But I did notice, if we look at the periods when he was the most successful, he often had someone who, I mean, not an in-game leader necessarily, but maybe plays the role you might call like secondary caller, you know, someone who can give some extra advice or their own perspective. So obviously in 1.6 and then as a coach in CSGO, he had Starix. And then when he was over in Gambit, I consider Adren a very intelligent player, you know. I know he's someone who has kind of a mind to be an in-game leader, maybe doesn't want to be one, I'm not sure. So he's had these people. Now he's in Na'Vi, there's not really someone in the team like that. And I know that a lot of people also, I mean, admittedly, they don't know him very well. A lot of people criticize ceh9. They don't think he's a very good coach. So what can you say on this topic? Is Zeus someone who you think benefits from having someone like that? Can he do this all on his own, do you think? Actually,
Zeus is a leader in real life, yeah? That's why he wanted to be a leader in game. I don't know how in European teams or North American teams, but in CIS we need like the person, our community, yeah, needs a person who will lead like you to the victory, yeah. And Zeus is one of those guys. If you will watch right now, we don't have captains, yeah. We have Angel in Hellraisers, we have Zeus, Blade in Flipside, but all of those guys have a lot of bad facts or minuses, yeah, like false, yeah, because Zeus, real captain needs to have a lot of small things, that make person be a good leader, And Zeus is that kind of guy. He worked a lot. I remember him like in 2009, when he just started his in-game leading. Everyone laughed, a lot, but time passed, and Zeus, like the champion and very experienced person in CSGO. And nowadays, he has some maybe faults. He maybe saw the funny video on his channel, or where Kane asks Zeus to pause the game in some match in Mirage. It was Cloud9, and Zeus is told Kane, "I don't know, Misha. Misha is the real name of Kane. I don't want, Misha. I don't want to make a pause." And Navi were losing like 12-1, or no, it was a very bad score for them. He has bad things when he just tilt. You have the word tilt in English. Where when the score is like 10-0 and you can't do anything. You can't pause the match. You can't talk to the team. And you can't make a comeback. You just lose 10-0, 12-0, 15-0, and that's all. But a lot of teams can't do that. But I don't think that it's like a good way. About Kane, maybe he's not a leader. A lot of people don't know Kane. A lot of people watch some maybe practice match or official game when Kane was standing, and Kane, like a very old 1.6 player, is not playing CSGO, and he don't know how to nade maybe some place, he don't know the positions, but as coach, he just know that on A there is some kind of tactic where 5 players are nading the spot, and he can show in demo of Astralis or someone else like those nades, but he can't nade it himself, that spot. But it's not a problem, I think, for coach. If you are talking about real soccer, football, coach, sometimes maybe he can join players on practice, and show some things, but actually he's just talking to the people. He's not showing on himself how to work with the ball, So Kane is the same person. Kane must work, for sure he must work on his leadership in Navi, because right now I think he's like a right hand of Zeus. He's not a coach like even Zonic in Astralis, because I think coach must be higher. We have team, Yes. We have teams, we have 5 players, we have conflicts between them, and we have coach that is standing upper, and he's like a father, of those boys. And I think the coach, the real coach, must be like that guy. But Kane has very good things. He's a good tactic person. He watched a lot of demos. He has a lot of experience as well, because he was a 1.6 player and he was a captain for maybe 10 years, from 2003 or 4, something like that. So that's why it's like good duo, Zeus and Kane.
Okay. So beyond Navi, the team that most people would probably still pick as the second best CIS team is Gambit, is the team that won the major. And obviously, they still have the players that won the major. It's just Zeus who left. Mm-hmm. Now, in this team, one of the problems they have had ever since Zeus left is they haven't been able to decide on someone to be the permanent in-game leader. They have continually swapped the roles. So Adren took it, and then Dosia apparently very briefly took it, and then HawpT took it, and then most recently they took in Seized and they gave it to Seized. What do you think of this team? Because when I look at this team, they still have some really good players. Like Adren and HawpT, clearly very skilled players, can be some of the best players in the world. But as a team, they're a lot worse, it seems, than the team that won this major. So what do you think on this topic? Because as you said, I mean, I noticed when you listed off all the other in-game leaders, you picked all the famous names. There wasn't a Gambit name there. So what do you think of this problem of not having an in-game leader?
Because they don't have an in-game leader. That's why I didn't tell about Gambit. Actually, yeah, it's the key to the Gambit's victory to find the in-game leader. And as I said earlier, in CIS, it's not even depends CSGO. People needs a leader, and Gambit don't have it. Maybe Seized will fix the problem because he had an experience already at Navi. Yeah, 1 year he was a captain, but in Navi he didn't want to be a captain. Because no one wanted to be a leader, and I think. Leader takes the opportunity, and he takes the team in his hands. But you can't give Seized. You want to be a captain? Be a captain, please. Or Adren, be a captain, please. It doesn't work like that. And the main problem of Gambit, is it's that they don't have a captain. And I don't think that Seized can fix the problem. Maybe, but I don't think. If you watched last tournament, it was DreamHack Marcel as well, yeah?
Yes.
Gambit took 4th place, but actually I have a lot of questions about that 4th place. A lot of questions. If we saw Navi, games Navi result, we actually can tell, they are the second team on that tournament. They won everyone with good scores. Yes. They showed us well performance, and they lose Astralis in the final because Astralis is better, and that's all. Sure. But if we're talking about Gambit, the first game they lost. The second game they won, but the score was very tough. Second game, they won, but again some shit like that. And they're 4th team on that tournament, but actually they're not 4th in the world right now, and maybe not even the 10th team in the world ranking. So I hope that they will grow. I hope that Seized maybe will grow, but a lot of time they just not ruined. A lot of time passed, because Adren was a captain, Dosia was a captain, HawpT. Actually, I think once they should give someone, or not even give, some person should take in-game leading, and they must work for half a year, and that's all, without these swaps, switches of captain, and that's all.
Okay, so we know one of the problems that Gambit has as a team, it's the same problem that Na'Vi had when they got Zeus back, is that there aren't really people you can get. Like, we heard the story that Na'Vi tried to get Angel, but maybe they wouldn't let him go, or the price was too high. And then, even though Western fans will say, just get Blade. I mean, we talked about this in your Reflections interview. A lot of people in CIS region think Blade is just, he's just, I mean, you would call him like a relic, he's something of the past, and he's an old style, and not many of the new players want to play with something like that. So, what do you think about the option of should they try in a team like Gambit to recruit someone who's never been at the top level, like give a new leader a chance, some young player or someone who's been in, I don't know, Vega Squadron, one of these teams. Should they give someone new a chance?
Maybe, but 4 players of Gambit, need to understand that we are taking a young person to be our captain. Or even if you remember, HawpT was a captain. But I think it's not the problem of HawpT that he just go away from captain's position. It's the problem of Advent, Dosia, Mo, and maybe who I forgot. Advent, Dosia, Mo, and Seized. And who was before Seized?
HawpT. Oh, right, before.
Okay, no, it's
the 5.
I'm talking about that. These
Fitch.
people, Fitch,
Yes.
it was Fitch. I need. I think that first of all, those guys should tell themselves, he's our new captain. He's a young player. He doesn't have experience like we, but we should listen to him. And for sure, like a young captain, he will make a lot of mistakes. It will be thousands of mistakes, but we should listen to him. I know for sure that nowadays, when captain says something wrong, one time, second, third, there will be a guy in the team that will tell, whoa, man, what are you talking about? You're very bad. We don't want to listen to you. We don't want to play with you, and so on. Maybe you won't be a captain. Okay, give in-game leading to someone else, and that's all. And for sure, when person listens to these things, he will maybe cry a bit. I'm a bad captain.
Sure,
and that's all. It won't work. And the team will play very, very bad. So all 5 persons need to work on in-game team play tactics and so on, and they need to motivate the captain, and the captain will motivate the team.
Okay. So one of the teams that sadly we almost never hear about now is Flipside, because unfortunately they already had that famous meme about them that they don't do anything and then the major comes along and that's where they play. But obviously that finally ended. The last major didn't go very well for them and they've kind of disappeared a bit. So one piece of news that came out of Flipside was this announcement that Markelov would become an AWPer again, and that after that, it was announced that World Edit, who was the AWPer before, would become, whatever term you want to use, support player, someone who's helping more the team, What do you think about this move? It seems like from the little I know and the few times I've talked to him, in CSGO, Markelov sounded like he just didn't want to try and be the star player, like he had a different mentality. Maybe he didn't like the game, I don't know. So what would you say about this move in Flipside?
Oh, actually, I made a vlog maybe 3 months ago. I think that it's a big mistake of Flipside to make Yegor to AWP again. And he might be a good sniper, but what will we do with World Edit? So we need to fix all the team again. We need to kick someone maybe, kick World Edit maybe, and take young players to the team, like good aims, good aimer, and so on. Actually, Flipside must watch for Navi, for their roles, for their positions, and make a team that is similar to Navi, like a good sniper, in-game leader, and they just need like Blade, Markelov, and 3 good aimers. Maybe it's not time of World Edit anymore, or maybe it's not time of Waylander, who is playing for Flipside. But actually, I don't know what will be with that team, because 3 or 4 months already, we didn't see the games at all. Maybe some third kind tournaments, or
yes,
tier 3 tournaments and very very small championships. But it's not the tournaments that we can talk about.
So then, are they as a team, are they even mysterious to people in CIS region? I mean, it's very weird to me because obviously, some of these names are well-known names and we've seen this team playing big tournaments. Is it, for example, a situation where, like, if I had to guess, just speculate completely, I know that Flipside as an organization is not an organization that has, millions of dollars and, the money has gone up a lot in Counter-Strike. I mean, we heard some of these stories recently when SK was trying to buy Flamey and Simple. The numbers were really, really crazy numbers.
Yeah.
Is a team like Flipside in a spot where they can probably only get kind of like new players or unknown players? Is this part of the problem?
Well, I don't know. We can ask maybe some Flipside boss, but actually, in CIS, economy level, is not that high as in North America or Europe. You can buy here some young person that plays CSGO for $100 or $500 per month. You can actually make academies here for free. It's actually free for such big organizations like SK, all North American or Europe organizations that have squads in CSGO can make for them free academies, because I think $2,000 or $3,000 per month it's not money, a bunch of money for big orgs. And I don't know why they don't work here, because it's good, I think, investments for those orgs. So maybe Flipside will find someone. They already find that fifth player from Belarus or from Crimea. I don't remember his Lollipop.
Ah, yes, very recently I think they got him.
What is his nickname?
I think it was
Lollipop. From Belarus. Actually, they found that man. His rating is 1.20. It's not that good, not that bad. It's really a good performance. But actually, versus what team he was playing? Versus. Yes. Because it depends. When you play versus Astralis, you have 1.2, and when you play versus some tier 3 team, maybe they need to find one more guy as him, and that will fix their problem. We will see. We will have major qualifications soon, and there we will see what is the performance of Flipside team.
So one of the things in the beginning of CSGO that I was quite surprised by was that, yes, okay, we had Na'Vi, and then later on we had the players who became Gambit when they were Hellraisers. We had a few different teams. We had Flipside with Blade, but we only really usually had 3 teams from CIS region at this point in time. And there wasn't kind of like a team below even that was close. And this is very strange to me, because I know from 1.6 there was always a lot of players playing in CIS region. If you ever looked at the local tournaments, there were teams who could get an upset win against a team that goes to the international tournaments. So now we have these teams, and particularly the team that everyone knows is obviously Vega Squadron, because of what they've been able to do, kicking Nip out of the qualification of one of the majors, getting into the majors themselves, having some upsets. Obviously they beat FaZe at this last major, but one of the problems this team has is people will know now this famous stat that they had the longest lineup in CSGO history. They had their 5 players the whole time, and we heard a couple of months ago that 2 of their players got benched, and one of these players is Mir, the person considered maybe the star player of this team. And the way they were benched, at least in the Western world, we just assume that means they're waiting for the end of their contract and they're going to go somewhere else, probably to a better team, because it would seem pretty strange to bench one of your best players. What do you think about Vega Squadron as a team? Like, if they lose a player like Mir, does this mean they will go down a level? They can't just find someone. I mean, I'm guessing they also would have problems, buying people, etc. Will they just have to find a random player? What happens to this team that, for a while was kind of a cool upset team?
Well, actually, maybe you missed last information. Kibakin joined Vega.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it was like yesterday. Right. You remember Kibakin was playing for Navi. Yeah. I agree with you because Mir and Kishander were nice players. Like Kishander had the role that we can compare to myself, when I played Navi, and Mir was like top aimer. And actually, I already talked about that on Russian websites. That I don't know what happened to Vega because this bench, as you said, to bench like best players is not a deal, but they made it. Now Kibakin joined and Crush joined from Pro Store. Crush is very good clutcher. He already is very experienced person. And what Kibakin, I don't know. He sometimes he's playing very good, but in his communications with people, he has always some problems. And I don't know if like 5 years or 6 years passed, and if we'll see Kibakin history, he changed already maybe 6 teams or 7 teams. And from every team, he was kicked, I think, because he has not even bad performance, because his communication with the people is not on that high level. But I know him very good, and I want him to be a champion as well, but I don't know if Vega with that lineup will show us some good performance. Actually, with Mir and Kishander, they were like a family, and now they need to work again on in-game communications, out-game communications, and that's all. So only time as always will show us is Vega a good team or no.
Can you guess where someone like Mir might be going? Do you think, is he going to go to one of the top CIS teams, do you think?
Oh, I think he can play even in team like Gambit, maybe, if Gambit's performance will be not that good in 2-3 months. I don't know, before major or after major, a lot of teams will switch players, so maybe Mir, will play in a very good team.
Okay, so even though they're not technically a CIS team anymore, Hellraisers to me always will be a CIS team because they still have Angel, they still have Johnson as the coach, they've even got Bondic still, so they've got enough players, and obviously the organization everyone thinks of as a CIS organization, even though the last couple of years they have tried all this other talent. So they had the talent that was from like Czech Republic, Slovakia, these countries, and then obviously now they've got Woxic and they've got Issa, again players from totally different countries. So I wanted to ask you something about Hellraisers. So the player I wanted to ask about first is Angel, this player who obviously you know very well from the CIS region. And even though he has been an in-game leader in the past, it seems like he maybe went a bit more tactical or something. And so could you give me any insight into that? Like, who is Angel, like the modern day CSGO player? And do you have any insight also as to Jonta? Because I know as a coach, like they have some kind of relationship, and I don't get to get a lot of information about this because I don't speak Russian, so I can't read the interviews, unfortunately. So can you give me some insights to what your thoughts are on them? Because they seem to have had some good success the last couple of years.
Well, I think Jonta, like a coach, is on a very good position. I can compare him with Blade from Flipside, and a lot of people in this community wait when Blade will be a coach and will quit from usual in game CSGO. Sure. Jonta has a lot of good ideas. He was a very nice captain all days. Markelov was playing with Jonta, maybe you remember, in Hellraisers.
Yes.
In like
10 years ago.
10 years ago. And Actually, Jonta can help every team, I think. By the way, he was a coach a bit in Flipside Tactics, as I remember. And nowadays, for 2 years, maybe, or maybe 2 years, I think, he's a coach of Hellraisers. And actually, yeah, it's not that easy to find the communication with Angel, and if Jonta is working as coach for 2 years, he actually knows how to talk with Hellraisers and game leader. About Angel, I can't tell like a lot of things because I didn't play with Angel, and I don't know him much as a person. But everyone knows that he is a very experienced player. He playing CSGO, CS, yeah, not CSGO, for 15 years already. And he was one of the first guys in CIS who believed in CSGO. Because if you remember, we thought that 1.6 Counter-Strike will live.
Yes.
And we switched to CSGO maybe in half past year, yeah. When
yes. Yeah.
already
half a year, yeah.
Yeah, when already a lot of teams were playing CSGO, and Angel was playing already CSGO from beta, and he showed very good performance. And as I remember, Angel with Virtus Pro is the first team on LAN who beat NIP.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It's like a record because NIP has 50 victories or 60 victories, 87 victories.
Row,
yeah. So they were the first guys who beat them. And Angel knows how to practice. He knows how to grow, and these results of Hellraisers are very good. Yeah, actually, a lot of time passed. Yeah, but every month Hellraisers are growing in the ranking, and it's really good. Like they're not every month. Yeah, they're 16th right now on HLTV.org, but they show nice performance. I think they won some small LAN in Kiev like 1 month ago. They beat Heroic online and could go to ESL Pro League, but visa issues, yeah.
Yes.
And maybe they will show us good performance on DreamHack Tourist tournament that will be same date. So it's not tours,
next
but
week, I think.
next week, yeah. So it's the same dates as ESL Pro League. So I think everything will be good in Hellraisers.
One of the things that has made Angel an interesting player is because, obviously, as you say, he's played for a long time, and from what I remember in the past, when he was a leader, he was more of like the loose style in the past, you know, and that tends to mean you can play more individually as well. And so he was a very good fragger for an in-game leader. He was very good killing players, and if you look at his stats now, he still often has tournaments where his stats are very good. And so when Na'Vi kicked Seized before they got Zeus, where no one knew if Zeus will come back because he's in Gambit, they've won the major, you know, everyone thought maybe he'll just stay there. A lot of people, myself included, wondered maybe they can get Angel. Maybe this will be an interesting move, you know, give someone else a chance. Obviously, in a way, it could be a good sign that you have an in-game leader who can kill, because he can also inspire extra confidence in his teammates. You know, so many in-game leaders have problems in this area. But it seems like every team I've heard about who wants to get Angel, so even Na'Vi, they've obviously got a lot of money. I heard actually that one of the Optic Gaming lineups at one point in time tried to get him. I think Mouse Sports tried to, you know, many different teams have tried to get Angel into their team. Do you think he will just never leave Hellraiser's organization? Do you think he would be a good leader of a team that's a different squad than these ones he's had now? What do you think?
Actually, Angel don't go anywhere, I think, because he loves Kiev. Yeah, he wants to live in Ukraine. And I don't know about these days, but in the past he was one of founders of Hellraisers, yeah?
Sure.
And that's why he didn't want to go anywhere else. He just wanted to work on his own organization, yeah? And Hellraisers is his home. So that's why, maybe in the future, but I don't know. I think he will stay in Hellraisers for the end of his career.
Okay. So if people remember when Simple was in Team Liquid, so we're going back a few years now, obviously this was the period in time where, in terms of being a bad teammate or someone who got too angry, that was probably his worst period because, he was still a very young player. I mean, he was probably 18 at the time, I would guess, This was obviously the first time he was in a team that wasn't from CIS region. And one thing I often used to tell people to try and not excuse behavior like this, but to explain it, is I would tell them, yeah, but you have to understand, in CSGO, it's not like League of Legends, where everyone moves into one team house, and so it's understood that you can live anywhere. For most CSGO pros, one of the best parts of being a pro is you still get to live in your house, you can be with your family, and then you just travel to the tournament when it's time to travel. So I always thought this was a very extreme situation to be put in. You come from CIS region at the time, his English wasn't so great, and he goes all the way to America. He's living in I think he was in the League of Legends house or something crazy. All of his teammates don't live there. He's isolated, I can see where this would be extreme, but it seems as though, and in line with what you said about Angel here, actually, it sounds like a lot of the CIS players don't want to leave CIS. Even if the offer is good or the team is better or more famous team, most players would rather stay where they're comfortable, where it's home. Do you think that is it too big a culture clash for people from CIS to go to whatever, Germany or America or something? Do you think there are some players who could do it? Do you think general it's a bad idea?
Well, maybe in the future everything in CSGO will change, and for sure teams that play a lot together on boot camps and live another place, not at home, will win championships. But nowadays, it's work, when a person is practicing at home, then going to some boot camp for 1 week or 2 weeks, and then have some break for a few days, and then again. I don't know why, but in 1.6 we had same structure and nothing changed. Just more tournaments, and you must more travel the world, but nothing changed, and I don't know why people don't want to travel and don't want to live. Maybe if I was younger, and I didn't have a wife and the house, I could go to USA, and to practice there. It's really amazing opportunity, amazing experience, and maybe some guys understand that, and in future, in 5, 6, 7 years, will remember these opportunities and cry about them because because they didn't fly to USA or some European country to practice. Maybe a lot of CSGO players just want to play with friends, and it's the problem, because friends, it's okay, it's a lot of fun, but with friends you can't be a champion in 99%.
Yes.
With friends you can only go to the cafe bar and drink some beer,
Sure.
but not to be a champion. But not a lot of players understand the thing, and that's all.
Okay, so one of the last topics, this is just a small one I wanted to ask you about, was in line with what we just talked about here on this last question. We almost had what I think would be the craziest transfer ever in Counter-Strike, which is you take a bunch of Brazilian players in SK Gaming who have played with the Brazilian players their whole career. They are speaking Portuguese. Some of them have good English, some of them don't. And you take 2 players from Ukraine, one from Russia, technically, you take 2 players from CIS region, you take Flamey, you take Simple, players who speak in Russian. They don't have the greatest English either, and they would have made one team. And if they'd have paid the money, and if the deal had gone through, and this move is like, if I hadn't heard it was real, and I saw someone make a thread on HLTV.org and they said this move will happen, I would be like, who is this idiot? That wouldn't work. What a stupid deal. But when we heard all these reports, like, maybe it'll happen, the deal's getting close, it started to kind of get exciting. Like, I was thinking, what would it be like, if Coldzera and Fur and Simple and Flame all in one team? Do you think this move would have worked if they'd done it? What do you think of it?
Well, actually, these days, SK performance are showing us that it would be the stupidest deal in the whole CSGO history, because Brazilians don't talk English good, only Fallen, yeah, as I know. Fair, Coldzera, and Bolts, yeah. No. With Flame and Simple, there wasn't Bolts,
yes,
in the team.
Yes, you're right.
So they don't speak English very good, and as I know, the main key of SK good performance was actually communication with each other. They in every interview, like 3 months or 5 months ago, told us that they don't even practice a lot. They don't have good tactics. They just speak to each other, and try to aim. And with good communications, they can win every team in the world. But nowadays, they're playing with 2K. They're talking English because of one guy in his team. Yeah, it's very they're very, very tolerant players. Yeah, they're talking English because of one person in the team, but everything else is ruined. They can't talk fast, I think, on English. They can't give information very good. Yeah, and no. If you are watching me, I can on my own language tell twice more or 3x more,
Sure.
but on English I can operate like 100 words, 200 words, then that's all.
Sure.
That's my fault. I will try better next time. But actually, that's the problem. And in the SK, they have same problem. So if Flamey and Simple would join, it will be the same. Yeah, Simple is one of the best players in the world, and without any talks, he can make some aces. Yeah, but I don't know if it will work. If it would work. Maybe we'll have some show match on next major when Orgas will make such a good team, and we will see. But actually, it won't give us an answer to that question. Flamey is not really good in English as well, and cultures, Brazilians and Ukraine, Russia, it's like different worlds. Really different things. So it would be a good opportunity for Fallen and his team and Simple and Flamey. But as we see with 2K, it won't work.
Okay. Right. To close out the interview, what I wanted to ask you is this, give us some kind of an update. What are your current plans in CSGO? Is there anyone you want to mention? And within this also, as a little side question, tell us what you think of CSGO at the moment. Are you still really interested in Counter-Strike? Is it as exciting to you as 1.6 was? What is the life of Senior at the moment?
Well, actually, my life is streaming, commentating, casting, for Russian viewers, but I don't like that much of tournaments. I think that we need to make maybe some international, like in Dota, maybe some super major when champions of major in the past will play each other. But I don't like when we have every weekend some tournament. And every weekend we have like a world champion, but next day everyone just forget about that, and that's all. It's not that good, I think. We need some maybe orga that will fix these things. I don't know why people watching CSGO right now. They can bet, they can win some money, but it's not that fun as it was like 3 years ago or 4 years ago when we had one championship for 2 months this year. I think that's the main problem of nowadays CSGO. And, of course, developers of the game should work a lot. Because people just quit CSGO. There are a lot of games right now that are more interesting for the people, especially Fortnite or PUBG. A lot of CSGO players just quit CSGO and go to play these games because it's something new. The developers who are working, they're updating these games every week. And it's really great. And if we watch CSGO, what was changed, really major changed for half a year? Nuke and Death 2, that's all.
Yeah.
It's not the big deal. And I don't know why, but Valve and developers of CSGO are these days just killing the game. Maybe they are making something major, and 1 month or 2 weeks it will come, but right now CSGO is not that interesting because a lot of championships and because of CSGO developers are doing nothing right now.
Spasiba.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Andreas and you're watching Thorin's YouTube channel.
This video was made possible by Dean Tanglis, Sanity, Gman, Andreas, Snazore, Westerlund, Alex Adams, Mikkel Hansen, Jerky's Minion, Anthony, Bash, Daniel Yordanov, Yordan Tsenkov, TTMXMP, VeXii, HawpT, Travis T. Greb. Just like my man, a lot of people think you can't tell me nothing. But I've graduated from that mindset, and now it is possible to have influence over some of the people I have on my shows, some of the topics I cover, to ask me questions directly and get exclusive teasers for upcoming projects I'm working on. Unlock the code to the streets and join the Scrilluminati today at the Patreon link below.